With this one here, it would have been good to just have one joint, but I can't do that. So I'm gonna have two joints. I have a joint there, a joint here, and a joint at the top. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna measure up here. I reckon I'm comfortable working at 1000, right? I'm gonna put this here. In the middle piece, we're gonna have 1200. 1200 is gonna be right at the bottom there. I reckon I can tape that with no issues. Or, I might even push this a little bit higher. Instead of going 1000, I'm just gonna go 800. Go for my 800 mark, calm down, 1200, and this should be 600. Exactly. I'm gonna cut it down 590. This is 1200, and this is 800. Now the measurements look like this. For my 1200 piece, I'm gonna take off 10 mil because I don't trust anything in this house. So I go 1220. I'm gonna double check the bottom to see how well that is. Yeah, 1220 is good. Just gonna go cut that right there, right now. Right here. I'm gonna come outside here, we're gonna find an offcut. Something like this right here. We just need an offcut that's big enough to be 1220 with a rebay on it. Yeah, 1220, 600. I'm gonna trace this to 590 using the rebay. Just like that. I'm gonna set it down somewhere. I get my T-square. I'll cut that. 1220 from this mark. I'm gonna put two dobs. I'm gonna get blocks. 10 mil blocks. At the very top, we're gonna put corners so it's not square, so it doesn't have to be tight. So we're gonna go off the blocks. And the blocks is gonna keep the plaster off of the ground. I'm gonna chuck that in there and we're gonna screw it. I'm gonna sit it on right there, just like that. Push down to the rebay, push to the internal. Fantastic. Where the architrave is gonna be, I'll just put one screw in the middle because they're gonna nail the architrave onto the timber, pushing the plaster even more, so you don't need to put too many screws there. Take all the screws that are missed out. Always make sure the screws are in. There's not much I can do about this internal. I got nothing to screw to. The builder knows. Now we'll go for the top piece. Now the top piece is a little bit complicated, but nothing is complicated when you know what you're doing. And you, my friend, you're about to know how to do it. This is going on a rake. I don't know why, but it is. So if I go tight to the ceiling there, you can see what we're working with there. But that's easy to fix, no issues. We've also got some plaster sticking out, so we gotta trim that back. It needs to be nice and flush. We also got this metal situation that we have up there. We also gotta work with that and make that look okay. All this stuff is nice and easy. It's just that we have a little bit more measuring than normal. And this is how we do this. Anytime you're measuring, you always wanna measure from the place you're gonna go tight to. So if I wanna get all my height measurement, I'm gonna come off the rebay because we have to go tight to the rebay. If I wanna get all my cross measurements, I'm supposed to come from the internal because we're gonna go tight to the internal. You understand? But it's a little bit complicated because this is on a rake. So I can get my bottom, but it's almost impossible to get my top. And I can't measure from this going that way because none of the timbers are straight. That is also risky. So this is what you do. Anytime you want to measure anything that is not straight or uneven, it could be a funny, fancy angle, it doesn't matter. This is how you do it. Trying to keep up with this part here because this is important. Here we have nothing, so I'm gonna create something straight to measure from. I'm gonna use the level and I wanna be in the middle of the timber. Not because of anything, but because I can mark that timber and create a line. I'm gonna go in the center of the timber and I wanna make sure that I'm nice and level up there. Dead center with my level. This is important. Level right in the center and I'm gonna create a line. Now we've got the line there. I'm gonna double check this bottom piece right here. Tie measurement is 720, I'll go 25. I'm gonna double check the top, see if I got the same thing. 725 on this little section here. With this one here, on the very bottom of the rake, making sure that my tape is nice and straight, I've got 677 at the very top. we gotta go 660. Now we also gotta measure the situation over there as well. I'm gonna hook my tape onto my timber there, and I wanna come back to the line over here, and there we got 15, 15. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna go right to the middle there, making sure that my tape is nice and straight. 17, 10. But I also wanna put it onto this little metal there, and there I've got 17, 23. You get what I'm saying? Now the height, on the other hand, the height should be the same. A15 tight there, should be close enough. A15, so I go 805. Now, I don't wanna confuse you guys by giving you a lot of measurements, but because this little piece is already complicated, and I wanna just show you how to measure stuff like this if you ever come across it, and if you don't have the right tools. Usually I would cut the full piece, put it on, and cut that bit out using my cutout tool. But let's just pretend you don't have a cutout tool. Now we're gonna measure this window here. This is how you do it. Coming off of the line again, time measurement is 510, take off 10, 500, right? 500. Go from this way. I'm gonna add on 10 because I want it to go past 10 mil. So time measurement is 1370. I'm gonna go 1380. The height should be the same. Time measurement is 290. I'm gonna add on 10 mil. I'm gonna go 300. I'm gonna write it down like this. I have to get this height over here too. I wanna go kinda tight, take off 2 mil. I've got 415, taking off 2 mil. I won't do anything fancy over there. I don't wanna cut that little square thing out. I'll just trim it back like I've been doing with everything else. I won't worry about too much about that for now. Before we get too comfortable, we need to know what our measurement is to the line that we created. To go tight there, I've got 725, which is that right there to the line. So 725, I'm gonna put a circle on it, so I know what it is. Now we're gonna write everything down. Because we have so many measurements, I almost recommend that you mark how your piece is gonna look like. I'm gonna create that fake line to show me that's what I'm measuring from. So the bottom here is 725. The height is 415, 677, 60. This way we had 500, 1380, 300. All my heights, I'm gonna write them like this so I know it's my height. My crosses, I write them like that, right? I won't worry about this. I won't worry about this little notch here. I won't worry about it. I'm gonna go with the 1710. And in the very top we have 17. The full height was 805. This is the overall height. This is everything we need. Now I know that 725 is where our mark is. All this makes sense to me. As long as you know how to measure it, write it down how you know and how you want, and it should be all right. First thing first, we need to mark our line. So 725, exactly. I'm gonna go all the way through. Everything is gonna come off that line right there. First of all, I'm gonna go 415 on my line there, 677. I'm gonna go 805, our overall height. And off that 805, and I wanna mark 660. So that's my little fancy rake there. I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna get that window now, 500. I've marked my 1380 off that line, 1710, 1723 as well. We also had our height at 300. That little cutout, I'll just cut it with the knife once it's up. Now we're gonna go ahead and start marking everything. This piece here, we're gonna go all the way down to a certain point, and then this piece here, just cut it. I don't even know how I'm marking. I'm just gonna cut it because that's the full length. Now this is the window here, 1380. Mark this one, 500. Mark that as well. This is the full width, that 300 on the window. I'm gonna use a knife and cut that to the 1380 line. Now this little rake situation that we have here, I'm gonna quickly just trace that line there. 660, 677. I'm gonna get my T-square from the line to the line. It seemed a little bit more complicated than it is, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna cut everything now. I should have a saw, but I'm just gonna use my knife. This window, I'm gonna cut that side and cut a V like this, right on the piece that I don't need. It's gonna make it easier for me to finish that cut. Same thing over here, finish that off right there. Because we cut the top, it should just snap. Just like that. When I come over here, snap that off, cut it. I'm gonna V the back. This is our piece right here. Because I didn't exactly cut out my fancy cut over here, I have to do some funny stuff when we put it up so it fits nicely, but that's pretty much it. It doesn't look as fancy as it looks on the measurement, but all those measurements I did were necessary. Unlike before, I'm gonna mark my studs, so I need to know where they are. That one I can see it. I'm gonna glue it Might even mark this here because I can screw that there. Because the plaster is sticking out like that, I'm gonna quickly just trim that. Now ready to hang it. It's gonna be a little bit big, but there you go. That should fit there. Nice fit on the bottom. That's a sexy cut right there. All right, that's how I measure anything that isn't nice and straight. I'm gonna do that for now. I'm gonna come over here. Let me get that perfect. There's a gorgeous cut there. I'm gonna cut it from the back. Now that it's up, we're gonna screw it. There's something wrong with this gun, it's not acting right. Now we screw the rest. If I need to trim anything, I'll just quickly go over it. Remember that I can screw it here. Very good. With this little section here, there's just a lot going on with this. You can see that that's messed up. There's not much I can do for it. Can't help it, can't save it. But I can trim it back though. This is what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna get the full width right there, and that is 70 mil by 320. I'm simply gonna sit it where it's gonna sit, right there. I'm gonna trace that. I'm gonna trace that. I'm gonna get a little piece like this. Gotta get some glue on it. There was nothing to screw to. I should have put glue all over that, but I didn't. And I'm not taking that piece down. I'm trying to get this in there. It's a messy job, but it's gotta be done. I just need something to hold this joint together. And that was the idea, but I don't think that's gonna work. I'm gonna check this little piece on. I'm gonna go there like that. I'm trying to screw it. This might break, but let's see. It broke a little bit. Even this one kind of broke. Okay, we'll pre-fill that. That's pretty much it. Very good. Got one more piece to hang. This part is very easy. 140, 1780, take away 10. 1790. I reckon we can just freestyle this. We wanna be on the timber. We don't wanna go past this plaster here. Very good. That's it right there. Nicely hung. I had some of the boys doing some taping, so they already started taping it. But you know how to hang it now. It's like a movie, bro. There's like scenes and shit. Link in the description. What?